Hello, Caterina. It's nice to have you here tonight.
Hi, Giulio. Thank you for inviting me for a chat.
No worries. So, tonight we have a few questions, and I'm sure you might have a few questions for me as well. Um, we should start off with, I think, the year, being that New Year's is coming and, it's the end of another year. How did this year go for you, being a spiritual healer?
It was an incredibly challenging year because at the end of last year, I was introduced by my guides into what was going on with animal agriculture and about spreading the word that this is quite an it is an atrocity as to what we are doing to the animals. And in actual fact, I have always worked very closely with the Archangel Michael, who has always helped me, especially when it comes to working with the more difficult work, when I'm clearing homes or helping people to expel and clear from them demonic energies and also curses and things like that. And Archangel Michael's channeled vision of the cycle of life and death for animals upon the earth. This was his message. Heaven can no longer contain the tears and anguish of the animals of this world. The brutality and the injustices inflicted upon innocent beings must stop. They will never, ever be peaceful humans on earth while this war is waged upon these innocent, sentient beings.
Wow.
That was a very powerful message that
It is.
Archangel Michael wanted me to share with all those that were willing to hear the message. We have come to a point in this world where we need to make changes. If all we have to do is look around and 90% of humanity are either depressed or suffering anxiety, or they are sick. There is incredible amounts of fighting and bickering amongst family members. Marriages are falling apart. Children are suffering because they are no longer spending quality time with their parents. There's little kids with little, computers and laptops, and the disconnect from the love within is extremely apparent
Right.
with people, and we are all suffering as a as we go on living this way. And we are no longer, people are becoming quite disappointed with religion because they're not finding God, because God is not an external being. God, the DNA of God is within us all. The love and the infinite love of God is within our hearts, and
Very true.
we need to go back within. Life is occupied with people being external. Everything is just the five senses: what I can see, what I can hear, what I can feel. It's not the inner world any longer, and we're losing ourselves. People are just so busy and occupied with their external world that they are completely missing out on the love, the peace and the healing that comes from being connected with the inner divine. And this is what
True.
I'm finding that's really missing with people. And they're losing their way, their inability to make choices in their lives. They're struggling on so many levels, and most of all, it's because they are struggling spiritually.
Right. What do you think some of the major causes are for this
The
disattachment and
Because we have too much going on. People are so busy chasing the dollar, so busy working, so busy feeling the pressure of life and the
yeah,
mortgage and the rents due and the bills of, and they're just forgetting about the joy and the love and the things that we are meant to be experiencing here. And that is the biggest cause of why people become depressed, and then they start drinking or they begin taking drugs. They begin hanging out with really negative people,
Yeah.
and you
It's
know
like a
it,
coping mechanism for them, I think.
it is, but
Yeah,
it's
but
a
it's the
vicious
wrong
cycle.
place to search as well.
Exactly, it's becoming a vicious cycle with people, but also it's the food that we're eating. Our food is contaminated. There's GMOs in the food we're eating, and this affects the way we're feeling. And also, we are killing something like 60 billion sentient beings every hour, and this is causing an energy of torture, of pain, of murder into our environment. So this is going to impact the way we are feeling. Whether we want to face this or not, if we are putting out all this energy of murder into our planet, then this is going to come back and amplify the pain and sorrow already within us. And then when people are eating these animal products, they are ingesting the pain and the suffering and the sorrow of that animal. Animals are kept in horrendous factory farms, and we are speaking about sentient beings. These are emotional, feeling beings. They have the DNA of God within them. They have a soul. They have feelings, and they want to be with their families. They want to be with their babies. They want to be loved, just the same as you and I. But we are not allowing them any freedom at all. We're using and abusing them, and that is not why God put them here. And this is adding to sickness. It is adding to the depression and the anxiety that almost 90% of people are feeling. And it's becoming quite horrific, because parents are bringing to me a lot of their young children 10, 12, 13, that are already suffering depression and
Oh,
anxiety.
wow. Terrible.
They don't want to go to school. They don't have any friends. They don't know where they belong. And even younger than that, children are misbehaving and
Mm.
throwing tantrums. And this is all also a result of our lifestyle and what we are eating. And if we begin to live in a moral, loving and compassionate way, we can begin to change the energy of this planet and truly make this a place of peace, rather than the mess that this planet is in.
Absolutely. What would you say to someone who is a firm believer, like a religious person, say, who says eating meat is perfectly fine, it's in the
Mhm.
Bible? How would you approach someone like that?
I would say to them, and I have actually said to them, that the power of God is an ever-present being that is pure, infinite love. Love does not murder. Love does not take away the life of any living being. And it doesn't matter what the Bible says, because we all know that many of these books have been corrupted, has been changed. And I say to people, what would love choose? If you
Absolutely.
could go into your heart, what would love choose? Love would choose peace. Love would choose compassion.
Absolutely.
You don't need to follow a set of rules and regulations that have been exploited and changed just to suit the agenda on this planet. There is an agenda on this planet, and it's all about making money.
That's right. And it's
It's
clear.
conquer and divide, divide and conquer.
That's right. As long as you're under that veil, that's all you know, it's subliminal to you. You don't
That's
pick it
right.
up. And that goes into my next question. What are the benefits of becoming a vegan,
Of becoming a vegan and of
along with
whole plant.
lifting the veil as well?
When you stop eating animal products, you begin to feel lighter and clearer. You begin to feel healthier. You begin to feel a stronger and much deeper connection with the divine that is within all of us, because we're no longer covering up that love, that inner peace with the torture energy that comes from eating meat. So it's like a spiritual awakening. You will feel as though a light has turned on in your soul, and your soul will shine so brightly. Your health will improve dramatically. And I have been a witness this year to the many people who made the change and got off the animal products. And they have all thanked me, because they have all felt a shift into a state of feeling not just healthier physically, but emotionally, feeling that inner peace, feeling more connected to Mother Earth. I mean, Mother Earth can't hold all this bloodshed.
Of course.
We have created an animal holocaust upon this planet. We are going against everything that God ever gave us. We were born from the heart of God, and so were the animals. And we have completely annihilated everything. We have consumed this planet and everything upon it.
That's right. You know, I have a friend of mine that I usually debate with on the topic of meat eating. And his defense is that the animals eat each other, you know. It's survival of the fittest. It goes into that Darwinism, that perspective of life. But I tell him, you can't compare that to the massive scale of murder these days, you know. It just doesn't compare. Animals in the wild would eat what they can. They don't set up factories and, you know, farms and acres and acres of deforestation just to maintain their slaughterhouses, you know?
Exactly. And they only will eat flesh once a week, because that fills them for so long that they're not having it for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Look, I find myself when I go into a coffee shop to get a coffee and I'm seeing people gourmandizing this bacon and eggs, and I see their energy changing. I see darkness coming over their heart chakra. Their aura begins to go greyish, and you can just see their faces as though this other being, this dark being, is taking over their bodies and over their minds and just causing them to feel completely disconnected.
Wow.
No, you've only got to go out on the road and see people having fits of rage now, road rage.
Very true.
These young kids, I mean, you go out at night, many times do you see kids fighting and punching up each other
Quite
for
a
no
few.
reason?
Like animals, exactly, you know? That
Exactly.
ego, that
people are becoming what they
primitive.
are eating.
That's
But the
right.
animals that people are eating are actually gentle beings. How can anyone eat a beautiful mother cow? She's such a gentle being. The sheep and the lambs, these innocent beings, they are without sin. In fact, they are here to share this world with us and teach us love. They don't fight. They don't kill each other.
Absolutely.
They don't kill their children. How many times do you turn on the TV and hear of a mother who's murdered her own child? Animals never behave this way.
That's right.
But the way, Spirit have been showing me so much about the future of this planet, and unless we all change, unless we all begin to go back into our hearts and be present with God, this planet is heading for some really bad times, unfortunately. The wake-up call is upon us, because I just believe the heavenly realms are fed up with how we are abusing everything, and we don't need to. We can live happily without abusing animals. We can live happily without consuming their flesh. We can live happily without having dairy products.
That's right.
The dairy industry is so cruel. It breaks my heart.
It is. The many videos that you see of mother being separated from child,
And
it's
crying,
horrible. Yeah, it's
crying for months and months, and then they are impregnated forcibly. They are raped and
that's right.
impregnated
To
by
start the
man.
cycle all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's terrible.
How do we live with ourselves when we're doing this to other beings, to sentient beings? And pigs, the way pigs are gassed,
Mm.
pigs are put into gas chambers, and the gas burns them from the inside out.
Oh,
And for all those people who love bacon, and I wish that they would go online and YouTube and listen to the last 5-6 minutes of those poor animals, or those pigs, their lives. They're screaming and crying, and they are in absolute pain.
yeah,
I mean, this is cruel. What we're doing, it's cruel. There is
yeah.
nothing godly. And then we go to church and we get on our knees and we pray that, God give me this and God give me that, and I need a new car and I want a new house. And how do we ask for these things when we do not allow peace to exist on this planet?
That's right. And another sad thing as well is that people who know what's going on and they know the suffering and the ungodliness that is happening, they defend meat eating
Mm.
as if it was their spirituality, their religion.
Because it's an addiction, and it also feeds the darkness in people's souls.
That's right.
Unfortunately, humanity, we all have a dark side.
Unfortunately.
And when we are eating these products, we are feeding the dark aspect of ourselves. And I know that that is not probably an easy thing to hear, but it's true. We all have a positive and we all have a negative aspect. And we are here to learn to align with love and diminish the power of the darkness within us. But when we are consuming these products, we are contributing to the suffering and the torture of innocent beings. Therefore, we are feeding that dark aspect of ourselves. That's why when I see people eating meat, I can see the energy in their hearts begin to diminish. Their vibration begins to diminish.
It's really
And
scary.
it's
To
very
think.
scary. And people are becoming more and more aggressive, or they're becoming more and more depressed, more and more anxiety. And that's all I hear every day when I'm at work. It's client after client. And I've got anxiety, I have depression, I'm sick, I have this, I have this. It just goes on and on and on. But the positive of all that is that the clients that did make the change had amazing outcomes, really positive outcomes. They felt awakened, they felt in touch with love in their hearts. It's like a lot of them said I felt like I was being reborn.
Wow. That's a very huge statement.
It's powerful. The changes
Yeah.
I've seen have been powerful, and God, I wish I had done it sooner, but we've all been brainwashed and conditioned to believe that we need to be eating these sentient beings in order for our health, and it's very far from the truth. We only need to look around to see people, and they are not healthy. Even people that go to the gym and look really fit and healthy, and they're eating protein because they believe but their arteries are clogged with the saturated fat that comes from meat eating.
Yeah, not to mention the aggression as well. Some
Absolutely.
of them are, mind the phrase, such meatheads.
They are.
They're very primitive and yeah, not all of them, but the ones
Yeah.
that I've
Well,
come
when you
across.
eat a lot of animals, you are connecting with the consciousness of the animal kingdom. So you
Yes,
cannot ascend to a higher place because you're stuck. You are what you eat. You really are. And in order to ascend, you need to leave that
Hmm.
Leave the animals off your plate and start feeding your body the food that it really needs. I mean, your body craves fruit, it craves vegetables, it craves rice and grains and beans. And when you eat food like that, you do feel really good.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
when
why
you
they call it comfort food.
Exactly, but when people, I see people, when they're eating all this meat, and it's like then they need to lie on the lounge
Yeah,
and go into like a acidic coma because
yeah,
what the meat is causing, a high acidity in the body, and then the body has to process all this acidity. You've got meat rotting in the intestines for weeks on end, and it doesn't even have a chance to get out when they're putting in another lot of meat.
that's right.
So that's why people are constantly tired. When you go on a whole plant-based diet, you spring out of bed. When I eat something, I feel energized by it. I don't feel like, oh my God, I've eaten all this food and now I just need to go and lie down.
Wow. You know, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's, say, on the fence? They're still eating meat, but they want to do the transition.
Mm.
What kind of encouragement would you recommend? What video should they watch? What social groups should they attend? Just to get a clearer picture on what the
Mm.
actual benefits are and the outcomes of becoming vegan.
Yeah, well, the way I helped my clients was I asked them to watch What the Health, Cowspiracy, they're fantastic documentaries. Um, Read a book called The China Study by Dr. Campbell. This man is a brilliant doctor, scientist who spent 30 years of his life studying the effects of animal products, animal flesh, and how it's causing sickness in the body. So it's good to go out there and get yourself really well informed. Like there is so much information now online on and switching to a whole plant-based diet. There are also so many products now available. There are more and more products coming available in Australia. I mean, I know in Sydney we have the Empathy Shop, we have Cruelty Free Shop, we have Dr. Earth, and they all have a great deal of vegan products, vegan cheeses, and different plant-based meats actually, but they're amazing. They're good for you. They don't have any saturated fat. They're full of iron and protein and things that will fill you up. You'll find that as you go along that you'll discover more and more things. So it's good to be prepared. Say, decide what you will have for breakfast, what you will have for lunch, and what you will have for dinner. And so that if you're prepared, then you're less likely to fail. It is a learning process because for so many years you're used to just thinking, a steak, a sausage, bacon. So you do need to give yourself that time to rethink your food. But once you do, you find that you really never run out of ideas. And thank God, because veganism is growing so much, there are now so many products becoming available. There are so many recipes, like you can buy little recipe books, you can Google recipes. So there's mountains of information out there. It's not really difficult anymore. And people spend so much time on their phones Googling stuff. So, it's really easy. It's not that hard. And when you do it also, not just for your health, but for reasons of compassion, when you think about that every person that becomes vegan is saving the lives of around 10,000 animals, because in an average lifetime, each person will eat around 10,000 animals.
Wow,
That's a lot of
that
flesh.
is. I wouldn't think that would be possible, but wow.
Yep. What most children would start eating at, well, I've forgotten now, but say, do they start it, is it 2 years old where they start eating
About that,
flesh,
like puree meat, yeah,
pureed meats and stuff like that?
yeah. Yeah,
So, until whatever, their time is up, they will easily consume around 10,000 animals. That's a lot of flesh. It's quite horrendous to think about that, and the effect and impact that it's having on the body. The body has to process all that food, all that
yeah,
flesh. And
right.
it sits in the intestines. We have long intestines, so
That's right.
we're not
According,
meant to eat meat. We have been designed to eat it in a state of emergency. Say we're lost in a jungle somewhere. But really, our intestines, we're meant to eat plants.
that's right. And one of the main theories now going around is that there had to have been a great war or a great conflict of some kind for humans to stop eating plants, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and in a desperate need to eat, they had to switch to meat, which was there and it's easily obtained,
Mm,
rather than plants you have to wait and you know.
mm,
So yeah, they reckon that there was some kind of war that went on,
mm.
some devastating catastrophe for humans to switch from plants to meat.
Yeah, but it's also about the money. Money rules this
Yes.
world.
Well, these
And
days
animal
anyway.
agriculture is making huge, vast amounts of money at the expense of that it is destroying our planet,
Yeah.
at the expense of that there are children on this planet that are starving, that have no food because the grains that should be going to them, the grains and the water are going to fatten up the animals for the Western society. I mean, this is spiritually wrong. This is, it's just we are causing ourselves so much karma by neglecting the other lives upon this world.
It's very sad. Very sad.
It is, and we just need to awaken. People are walking around in a state of zombie, and they're just buying, like, go to the supermarket and I see people filling up their trolleys with meat, and they look so unhealthy. Most of them are obese. Some of them have got walking sticks and they can't even walk properly. They're limping. You can see that they're in absolute pain, and they just keep eating the very thing that is making them sick.
That's right.
But are you noticing, Giulio, that more younger kids, like, and people your age, are getting away from the animal products?
I do. Like a lot of people in my age group, yeah, they read, they watch a lot of YouTube videos, and yeah, it's leaning more towards a vegan lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then also depending what social groups there are that exist, some of them they stay more on the old-fashioned side, so to say.
Mm,
They they look down on people with these new ideas of going vegan or vegetarian for that matter. Yeah, I tend to fall more, well, the groups that I associate with, they tend to be more on the meat eating side, and
mm,
that makes me the black sheep, you see.
mm,
So yeah,
mm.
it's really
But
hard to,
slowly,
yeah,
slowly you can influence them.
that's right. Yeah, I try to. I have got a few people that resonate with me, and they have changed their diet. They have made the transition. I'm yet to make my full transition into veganism. Hopefully, in the coming year, I don't relapse.
I
But yeah,
won't let you.
let's hope so. And yeah, so yeah, a few of my friends have followed suit, and they're enthusiastic about the change, and they're following me on my journey as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, because I do feel like there are a lot more. The younger generation is changing because they are seeing, the stuff on YouTube, and
Yeah,
the atrocity that goes on with these sentient beings, and they're realizing that they don't want to take part in that.
that's right. These days, information is accessible to everybody. All you got
Mm,
to do is go online, click, you know, slaughterhouse, or
mm. And it's horrifying.
yeah, it is. It's really bad.
And and I believe that people that think that they have a right to be eating meat, they why don't they go for a tour to a slaughterhouse? Why don't they go and see what these animals go through?
That's right.
Really, that's what it kind of really upsets me, because they sit there so high and mighty. Oh, it's my choice to eat meat, but at the expense and cost of what gives you that right.
That's right.
We're not here to play God. We have no right to kill. We have no right to take the life of another being. Animals are not here to be at our mercy. They're not beneath us. They are also sacred beings. And we have no right whatsoever to take away their lives. And the fact is this, that these big meat eaters, once they die and they cross over, they're going to have to go through an incredible purge of their souls for a very, very long time before they will be able to ascend and be in the higher realms.
That's right. They're not going to get over scot-free.
That's right. If you leave this planet and your body, your soul is full of torture energy, then that lower vibration is not going to allow you to ascend to a higher place. You will be in the lower realms, and you will have to work through before you can ascend to the higher realms. So it's not only what we're doing in this time, in our lifetime here, but it also affects us in the afterlife.
Absolutely. And I suppose you can see that as well, like with, say, in the cases of ghosts and spirits on, is it the fourth dimension?
Yeah, they're trapped in the fourth dimension, the lower fourth dimension, yeah.
That's right.
Because that is the closest to planet Earth. And within the fourth dimension are, the demonic realms, the lower realms.
Yeah. And I think that's where they'll go, because they're resonating with that same frequency, And I don't think it's a nice place to go after you die.
Well, no, there will be suffering. And what happens is that when we are in the physical body, we can deny, we can hide, we can close off and put our heads in the sand and go on and pretend that, we don't care, and go on and do the destructive things that we do. But when we are stripped at our death, we are stripped. We no longer take our physical body with us. So there is nowhere to hide. You are your soul, and you will be completely feeling everything that you have done in your lifetime, all those emotions, all those feelings. So if you have eaten a lot of animals, you are going to have the imprint of that animal's suffering and everything that animal went through, or the multiple animals that you've eaten. That imprint will be on your soul, and you feel it and see it.
Tell me, the other day we were talking and you were mentioning something about how animals don't have time to leave their body.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
sad.
interesting.
I've been spending a lot of time crossing over souls. So when a person dies, it takes them about 3 days to completely separate themselves from their physical bodies. This is why people go into a morgue for a few days before their actual burial. And it gives time for their soul to get away from their body and to go wherever it is that it needs to go. These animals are killed, so fast, and then they go to the next stage where they're chopped into little pieces. Their souls haven't even got time to leave their bodies. Yes, and they have died under incredible shock. So I have seen the animal soul actually stuck to the carcass, to the body, or to a piece of meat. It's quite incredible. And so people are eating meat, and they're also swallowing, taking on that spirit, that soul of that animal.
Wow. Sounds like a horror
It's
film.
time to wake up. It's truly time to stop this on every level. It is just, it has this whole idea of of eating animals has been an invention from the demonic realms. Satan has always tried to destroy the goodness of God and the beautiful things that God has given us, the sacredness of life. Satan has entered into this world and is here to cause havoc on every single level. And what better way to cause havoc than by, introducing murder.
That's right.
Into
Having
the
us
we are eating.
be involved in the sacrifice.
Exactly. And not only these satanic realms they feed off the energy of all this terror and murder. So when you think about the thousands of slaughterhouses all over this planet, though these places are very dark, demonic infested places, they are not happy, positive places. They are demonic infested places, with the screams and the yells and the blood that takes place in these slaughterhouses. Satan's there feeding on that, and the more energy Satan gets, the more havoc he will cause in people's lives and in people's families. And again, it is evident everywhere that you look.
Wow.
So if we stopped slaughtering animals, the energy on this planet would begin to change into one of peace. That peace would then affect our personal lives, our families, and our planet. Mother Earth would begin to heal herself, because she's carrying all this bloodshed and murder and grief.
That's right.
So there's absolutely no reason in this world, physically, spiritually, mentally, morally, ethically, why anyone would want to go on taking part in such a travesty. Because
right.
That is what animal agriculture is. It is an evil travesty.
It really is something to split from, because by now it's become home for a lot of people. We go to school believing that protein and calcium and all our minerals that we need is from meat, and they don't tell you that what you find in meat is also found in plant-based food.
Much more.
We're deceived, of course. Much more minerals. We're
it's all deceived. Yeah, because it's all about making money. So everybody is paid off,
That's right.
That's why I say to people, watch Cowspiracy, watch What the Health, and you will see it is really a conspiracy. These people in animal agriculture have a great deal of money to pay. They pay to fool the public.
It's all mafia.
Yeah, exactly. Very much so. It is like a mafia. And they need to go back into their hearts and start thinking from a place of purity, rather than just follow what everybody else is doing. Is get off the bandwagon, think for yourself, be moral, be ethical, be the infinite love that you were made to be.
That's right.
And that's what Jesus came here to demonstrate to the planet. He came here to demonstrate unconditional love and nothing else. He loved animals. He did not eat. He was a vegan. He absolutely did not eat death while he was here on this planet. That's for sure.
Amen.
Amen.
So what would you like to say to our followers for the New Year's? What would your message be?
Well, what I would really like to say, that it is time to heal ourselves. It is time to heal humanity. It is time to heal the planet. It is time that we all unite under the one banner of love, and that we start to all begin to do our part in creating more peace and more love on this planet. And we need to allow Mother Earth to heal. We need to stop these atrocities. We need to allow the animals to live in peace. And when we do this, we will become love, we will become peace, we will experience love, we will truly make this planet the Garden of Eden once again. This is what God intended for us. And you know what? All these demonic realms and they won't have any more energy here, and they will all go. And it will become a place that houses the presence of love.
Beautifully said. Okay, Caterina, it's nice having you on the panel.
Thank you, Giulio.
And as you may all know, we will have other people on the panel as well join us and also discuss things of a spiritual matter. And hopefully we join again anytime soon, and we'll make another video.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we'll be bringing in and just we're here to also help people to awaken and take them
Of
on the
course.
journey and take them on the path. That's the intention of why we've come together to do this.
That's right.
Well, God bless everyone and have a happy new year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Giulio.
Thank you, Caterina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.